The 2010 Purtle.com Brass Camp was a success with 45 participants from 18 states such as South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, D.C., Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Alabama, Louisiana, Missouri, Texas, and California, and 4 Army bases represented such as Fort Drum, Fort Gordon, Fort McPherson, and Fort Rucker, and others coming from London and Portugal. Another 22 watched online from 12 countries, such as the United States, Czech Republic, Italy, Germany, Norway, Iran, China, Australia, Japan, and Canada, making this an international brass conference. This is a sample of the closing performance by the participants.
The focus that I wanted to have was to show people 2 things: how to practice your instrument better and how to do things that would help you make a living at playing your instrument. I thought that when I was in college, I thought that some of these things got left off. Either the focus was more on playing solos or things like that, and there was never as much work on how to continue to progress in your fundamentals on your playing. And then the second thing was how to make a living at your instrument. I thought that no one really told me how to do it, and the only way that I kind of learned about it was through hanging out with some of my musician friends in Los Angeles that were making a living at it and trying to pick their brain about how they recruited new students, how they got gigs, all different kinds of things like that. So with that said, that's where my part of it is going to be talking about practicing the Claude Gordon things and how to think about them and how to use them. And then with the business part of it, that's going to be more with Harry Kim and Susan Slaughter and talking about each of their perspectives on that.
Especially we're talking about the Claude Gordon technique, which is just super. I studied that for about 4 years, worked with Mr. Gordon. And I'll have to tell you that I started practicing it, and he would have an assignment every week, and week 2, and week 3, and week 4, all the way through. And after about 6 months, people who sat in front of me turned around and said, "You're getting better. What are you doing?" So if you discipline yourself and really work on the Claude Gordon technique, it will make you a better player. So I really do believe in it, and I still do many of the things that he taught me. Well, I went to Claude because I was not satisfied with my upper range, and I figured there was something that I was missing and not understanding. I think one of the keys was, he said, the airplane example he gives, I don't know if you've gotten to the airplane example yet, but tongue determines pitch. And I would say, let's go up to a high C. Bum, 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 bum. We know that's not a high C, but with my voice, you're not going to hear a high C. So bum, 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 and I'd fall down to the B flat. And I couldn't understand what was going on, And so I played something, and eventually that happened. I thought, very simple. Your tongue just slipped. You had the high C, obviously you can hit it, but when you added the crescendo of the air, it blew the tongue out of position. So then I grasped that, I could really play those notes. I just had to lock that position in. So one of the exercises had me do was to play up to, let's say I think it was a high A flat, concert G flat, maybe on the B flat trumpet, or on the C trumpet, and holding that note, he said, now try to play an octave lower without moving the tongue. So I did, and of course I couldn't go anywhere. And then he said, now try to hold that note and let the tongue drop. And of course I couldn't hold the note. So I think that was one of the key things that I learned. That tongue determines pitch, and all the benefits of playing the Clark studies. The K tongue was the other thing. Doing a lot of K tongue totally improved and made stronger my double tongue and triple tongue. So there are a lot of pluses that I got from him. Plus, he was just a wonderful gentleman. Jeff asked me to talk about the music business and an orchestra job in particular, because that would be my expertise. I wouldn't be able really to talk too much about freelance playing, because I am just now entering the freelance world, per se. So we could call it preparation for an orchestra career.
I got together with some friends in Los Angeles to give their opinions about what they think are important for a horn player. It's not just for trumpet players, but horn players in general. A lot of these things apply to all musicians in general. When you leave college and you go out to the workplace, you know, what do you have to be prepared for? And so I gathered up all this information from all these different people and put them into different categories. So, you know, I'm going to play the first clip for you, and this clip is called What's Required. So these people will tell you right off the bat what you need when you get out of college and you say you go to LA or you go to Nashville, you go somewhere looking for a job.
The first thing is to love what you're doing, and when we came up, we didn't give a damn about money, man, or fame. We didn't know how to pronounce that. There was no money or fame in it, and so it had to be pure love, you know, and dedication.
That once you experience, once you discover how much joy there is to play music, you'll want to spend the rest of your life acquiring the tools to better express that. You'll see guys in their 80s still searching for mouthpieces, still checking out equipment, still practicing, still taking lessons, because you know what it's like to be joyful about music, and you spend the rest, it's never ending. That's why I say you're a perpetual student, but you'll want it. You'll want to find more tools and you know, just to be able to speak and express. You know, you see somebody that impresses you, or you hear something that impresses you, instead of saying, wow, how does he do that? I'll never be able to do that. You know, I think the right attitude is, I can do that. And go in the practice room and work it out. And don't leave that practice room until you can do it.
Page 28, which is Etude 5, it says on the top, put the page in one breath. Most people look at that and say, I can't do that, and they just kind of give up on it. Now, it takes years, actually, to be able to do something like this. It might take you like 2 or 3 years or more. But the thing is that you're working towards that, and you got to like lay the foundation of all the habits to be in place so that you can eventually do that.
Classic world, I've seen, you know, great soloists, you know, they emote when they play. You know, they're not just standing there and doing this. The great soloists, they're giving you a show, man. You see a pianist, you know, they don't do that at home. You know what I'm talking about? They're in front of people, but they're feeling it. Now, all of a sudden, it becomes something else because you got so much passion going on. This is the thing that young people, or not just young people, people of all ages run into. You know, come on, let's just move a little bit and move with the groove. You know, that means you're engaged. When you become engaged, you get your audience engaged.
Other sessions included Dr. Keith Amstutz talking about video fluoroscopy and the tongue, Joe Marcinkiewicz talking about the Claude Gordon trumpet and mouthpiece construction, and Rich Ita talking about antique brass instruments. The 2 concerts were amazing, with Harry Kim and an excellent band that you're listening to now. You can watch all 14 hours of sessions and concerts by going to Purtle.com. Here are 2 excerpts of the Monarch Brass concert. Go to Purtle.com to watch all 14 hours of PBC 2010. Don't miss PBC 2011, which will include Harry Kim again, university credit, all new sessions, and another day with more for all brass players, including dinner and a jam session. Plus, more free iPods given away and socializing time with like-minded, encouraging players of all ages.